This information is from the Scaffold Tool and Training Company of Melbourne, Australia, where we provide efficient, accurate and reliable training in basic, intermediate and advanced level scaffolding, plus Certificate 3 in scaffolding. For further free information and free training material, visit our website www.scaffoldtraining.com.au or give us a call on 1300 551 610 Australia-wide. Scaffolders need to be aware of various forces and loads that are applied to the scaffold. First load is the dead load. The dead load is the weight of the components attached to a standard being transferred down to the ground. That's not the total weight of the scaffold, it's the part weight of the components attached to a standard being transferred down to the ground. Then there's the live load. The live load is the distribution of the weight of persons and materials on the scaffold being transferred down to the ground. So the dead load is the weight of the components, the live load is the weight of the persons and materials on the scaffold. We then have the static load, which is listed as the consistent applied load, which means the total weight of the scaffold and how that's applied to the supporting surface. Next one, dynamic load. Dynamic loads are the forces applied to the scaffold by persons moving around on the scaffold or by a person pushing or mobiling the scaffold. Wind load is the effect of the wind on the scaffold. It's not just the wind, it's the effect of the wind on the scaffold. And environmental loads, which is the weight of environmental factors. If a scaffold is being used for demolition and bricks and blocks are falling onto that scaffold, well, they're an environmental load. If a scaffold's left in a cold area and it snows or freezes, well then the weight of that snow and or ice is also part of the environmental load. So these are the loads that you need to be aware of to be a basic scaffolder in Australia. Dead load, part weight of the components being transferred down the standard. A live load, the distribution of the weight of persons and materials on the scaffold. Static load, total weight of the scaffold and how it's transferred to the ground. Dynamic load, forces on the scaffold by persons moving around on the scaffold. Wind load, the effect or the force of the wind against the scaffold. And the environmental load, the weight of environmental factors, snow, ice.